So, Donbrothers Episode 3, The Light Thief, the third episode in Avataro Sentai Donbrothers. And this episode, I enjoyed it because in this episode we're introduced to some brand new gear alters and some brand new form changes, and also the brand new female villain in this episode. But we also got to see the debut of the Blue Ranger in this episode, and that guy seemed like a lot of fun. So, the whole premise of this episode is Haruka and Taru running around doing deliveries, trying to catch a thief who works for another delivery company opposite to Taro. And we find out that they're stealing lights. And when I first heard that, I'm like, why are they stealing lights? It sounds like a really dumb Pacific thing for them to steal. And then we find out why they're stealing lights. It's so they can put darkness on everyone, because if you've got no lights, you're going to be living in darkness. So that's the play on why he's been stealing lights. But in this episode, we're also fully introduced to the Blue Ranger, Sarahara. Now, he did make a cameo in last week's episode, and I forgot to talk about it in the review, mostly because it slipped my mind. But in this episode, we're fully introduced to him. We see how he gets the glasses. We learn what he's a little bit about, and he seems like a laid-back, fun character because he says that he's never worked in his life. He's kind of a free roamer, freeloader kind of guy, and he's really laid back and super chill. And I like him. I think he's a lot of fun. He seems like that cool Blue Ranger guy with the nice guy attitude. So I'm excited to learn more about this character and what he's fully about, because in this episode we do reunite the team and have the 5 Rangers together, but we still don't know what everyone is all about. The characters that have gotten some focus on in the show is Yellow. She got some major focus in episode 1. Last week we saw the Pink Ranger get some focus on and learn a little bit about his backstory, and episode 3, we also got to learn a little bit more about the Blue Ranger, but we still don't know what he's fully about, like I mentioned earlier. Black is still kind of a mystery. Red, we kind of understand what he's about, but we're going to learn more about him next week, so I'm excited about that. So we now have the team together, and I'm excited to see what dynamic these characters will bring together when working together in the show. Speaking of characters working together, we got to see Haruka and Taro sort of interact in this episode, and I think the characters' chemistry and how they bounced off in this episode was a lot of fun. Like how they were first introduced, like you've got Taro standing around the front door and Haruka says, hey, if you're going to come inside, why don't you do the dishes? And Taro comes inside and does the dishes because, like he always says, he's not only a delivery guy, he brings good fortune to people as well as he tries to help them out. So I like how Taro just helps whoever he can, even though he's like not the brightest tool in the shed. He's got good intentions, but he's a bit of a dummy sometimes, I will say that. But I gotta say, Taro's a good boy and I love him, he's a lot of fun. But there's also another moment where they're sitting around in the cafe and she asks Taro, what's your name? And he's about to tell her what's his name. And she goes, that doesn't matter, I'm just going to call you Polar Bear because that's what the company he works for. So he almost revealed his name, but he never got to do it. But she does find out his name later on in the episode and does pledge loyalty to Momotaro. And that moment got a kick out of me, literally, because as soon as Oni Sister pledges loyalty to Momotaro, he kicks her. Kind of like what most of the bad guys have been doing in this episode. He just kicks her away, and then he just starts laughing and says, now the festivities has begun, and starts fighting everyone playfully. So I gotta love the sort of weird bombastic nature that Taro turns into when he morphs, and that's always a lot of fun as well. Now, in this episode, we also got to see the debut of the Tokuja alter and the Don Tokuja Momotaro alter. Oh geez, try saying that 3 times in a row really fast. But we saw the debut of that, and it looks alright. I mean, it shows purpose off for the show, for plot convenience and stuff like that. I am curious what the other alters are going to do later down the line, but like I said last week, I wasn't expecting them to be so small. I thought they would be sort of human size CGI things, but no, they're actually really small, and they seem to be useful when sort of solving the problem of the day in the episode. And the train one looked alright, I will say that. But We also got to see the other Rangers change into the Tokuja Rangers. That was a really cool moment. So, like I said last week, they just changed in the different gears. They use the different gears to change, and they use their powers, which is also really cool. But in this episode, we also got to see the debut of Sanoi, the third bad guy in the group of bad guys, the lady one. And I gotta say, she's an interesting character. But first off, I just want to say, Sonoi's morpher, her henshin device, whatever you want to call it, that looks so clean. I love what it looks like. It's hard to describe, but I'm going to have an image of it up on screen, but it looks like a piece of jewelry, but even more fancier as it looks like a morpher, and her suit design looks really cool as well, seeing it in motion, and I have no idea what these bad guys' plan is, because the heroes aren't the ones who defeat the monster of the week this episode. Sanoi is. She sort of jumps in the middle of Momotaro's fight and stops the finishing move, and then destroys the bad guy for itself. And then after that, she says, I might as well delete you. And then after she destroys the bad guy, you see the monster of the week sort of being destroyed, and then it teleports to a cube in cyberspace where it's crushed up and destroyed. And then after that, the monster, when it's destroyed, turns into a gear that winds up in Variant Kaito's hand, and Kaito says, this is not what I was expecting. So, once again, the mystery of what the hell is going on in this Sentai is raised even higher, with the viewers and the characters trying to find out what the heck is going on. But again, it raises more mystery to the Kaito situation going on. It raises more mystery to what the bad guys are doing. We have no idea what the bad guys are planning, and we have no idea what their goal is. And I think we're probably going to find out later down the line, but still, these bad guys are a mystery to us. Are they heroes? Are they villains? Are they think they're doing hero things? We have no idea. And I think that's what I like about watching Donbrothers so far. Everything's still a mystery surrounding our heroes, our villains, and the characters involved in the story. And I'm excited to learn more about it as the show goes on moving forward. So whatever happens, I'm definitely on board for the ride to see what is going to happen next. And I can't wait to see episode 4 next week, when we learn a little bit more about Don Momotaro's past and learn what he's about, because Taro, we've seen him as an adult, but we still know nothing about him because we saw that one flashback in the first episode, and that's about it. So next week we'll probably be learning more about his childhood and maybe what happened to his stepfather and why he's trapped in that digital world. So I'm excited to see that. So with that said, I'm going to bring this video to a close. If you enjoyed this review, hit that thumbs up. Leave a comment down below with what you thought of the episode and your predictions about the show moving forward and stuff like that. Special thanks to all the members such as Swaggerthorn, Andrew McCoyle, and the Power Bunny was a $30 member. If you want to become a member or get your name shouted out in every video and stuff like that, hit the join button, become a Patreon supporter for special perks and stuff like that on the channel. With that said, I'm out of here. Have a wonderful day or night. I'll see you guys later. Peace out. Take care. Bye.